Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with potato chip latkes. That's right, this video was supposed to be a fun hack for an easy no-work method to make potato pancakes. But what this actually became is a video recipe for how to make the best potato pancakes I've ever had. And I know that does sound crazy, but it is 100% true. And to get started, the first thing we'll need to do is crush up some potato chips. And what I recommend here is the classic kettle-style chip, which contains no seasoning other than sea salt. And while you can of course crush up any potato chip you want, the kind I used were perfect, so I would go with that. And by the way, there might be better ways to exfoliate your hands, but this has to be the most delicious way. But anyway, we're going to need 1 cup of potato chips, crushed up just like this, which is fairly fine. And once those are set, we will add 1 large egg to a bowl, along with some whole milk, as well as a little splash of cold fresh water. We will also need some all-purpose flour, a little bit of baking powder, no, not baking soda, baking powder, as well as a touch of salt, some freshly ground black pepper, and of course a few shakes of cayenne. And then we'll finish up with about a tablespoon of minced onion. Okay, anything will work, and I ended up using the light parts of a scallion. And then what we'll do is give this a thorough and thoughtful whisking until we have everything evenly combined. At which point we'll add in our crushed potato chips, along with a couple more shakes of cayenne, because I either forgot I added it earlier or I wanted a little more. And which one was it? Well, I'd rather not say. And that's it. We'll take a spoon and give this a mix. And yes, this mixture is going to be very loose and very liquidy and way too wet to make latkes with. But that's okay, because what we're going to do after this is mixed is wrap it up and pop it in the fridge for 30 to 60 minutes. And during that time, the starches are going to soak up the liquid. And as you can see as we unwrap this and give it a stir, things will have thickened up substantially. And if everything goes according to plan, we should be looking at something that looks like a traditional potato pancake batter. And once that is ready to use, we will head to the stove and we'll divide that into 4 equal, somewhat round portions, on top of some vegetable oil that we have set over medium heat. And yes, of course you can use the fat of your choice. And by the way, don't waste too much time trying to fine-tune the shape. Okay, personally, I do not trust a perfectly round potato pancake. So for these, just kind of round is fine. And what we'll do is let those fry on medium for about 4 minutes, or until the bottom is nicely brown before we flip them over. And you know what, I really should have peeked, since these look pretty good, but I would prefer them to be a little bit browner. So as you'll see, once this second side browns, I'm going to flip them back over to get a little more color on that first side. And you should always feel free to do the same. I mean, you are after all the Lenore Ryan of your potato chip latke frying. And by the way, Lenore was a chef at Ryan's Cafe, where I used to work, who did an amazing brunch and served an amazing potato pancake. And I have a feeling she would have loved these. So once that side browned for about 3 or 4 minutes, I flipped them back over. And yes, that right there is the exact amount of browning I think we want. So after flipping, I let those go for another minute or so, until I was completely thrilled with how both sides looked. And that's it. Once done, we'll remove those to a paper towel to drain a little bit, before we go ahead and plate those up any way we want. And the way I think you really want to do these is top first with a nice spoon of applesauce, followed by a nice dollop of sour cream, or creme fraiche, or even plain yogurt is really nice with these. And that's it. After double dolloping the tops, I went ahead and finished up with some freshly snipped chives, which of course went places I didn't want them to go. So after scattering, I moved some around and took way too many pictures before I grabbed a fork to go in for the official taste. And that, my friends, like I said in the intro, was the best bite of potato pancake I've ever had. Right, these have the exact same texture as a classic latke, but with a more pronounced, more intense potato flavor, which makes sense because we use nice fried crispy potatoes to make these with. So I was confident these were going to taste amazing, but what I didn't anticipate was how incredibly perfect the texture was going to be, which I will admit took a couple test batches, but I did eventually figure out the right amount of liquid, and I'm so happy, and I think you're going to be so happy I did. And of course, you go ahead and serve your latkes any way you want. But for me, you cannot beat the combination of applesauce, sour cream, and chive. Right, that really does make for a literally perfect pairing. But no matter how you serve yours, this is way more than just a time-saving hack. And whether you make these for Hanukkah or just to serve at your next brunch, they really were the best I've ever had, which is why I really do hope you give these a try soon. So please follow the links below for the ingredient amounts, a printable written recipe, and much more info as usual. And as always, enjoy.